2 years ago, I was standing on a construction site, watching the company owner invoice a job for 12 grand. The crew doing the work got about half of that. And then I realized something that changed how I look at the industry forever. Because right now there's a shift happening in this industry. Construction is one of the few industries where real physical work still needs to happen. Jobs, they still need managing. And right now, in the middle of that shift, there is a gap where old heads will suffer as 20 and 30-year-old players who understand the game will take advantage of it and will take over the industry and get paid thousands every month without having any previous work experience in this field, without a van, without tools, without showing up on site, without years of building a reputation from scratch. And what they understand is something that most people on site never really think about: the difference between doing the work yourself and controlling the job. So look, if you clicked on this video because you want to create an online construction business or want to scale up your existing construction business and get off the tools, then pay attention, because I'm about to show you how you can take advantage of this change in the industry to start or scale your digital construction arbitrage business. Like Philip, who started with 0 clients, 0 track record, no experience, and yet he collected 21,600 in his first 2.5 months. Or Jacob, who was still working as a tradie on site when he started. He built the operation on the side and now he just runs it from Portugal. Now, before I go any further, this is for the person who is done watching other people build things while they stay stuck in the same position. Whether you are on the tools, already tried running your own operation, or brand new to this industry entirely, all of these 3 starting points work inside this model. This is not for anyone who is looking for some random scheme, not for anyone who wants results without putting the work in, and honestly not for anyone who is not serious about actually building something real. If that is not you, then no hard feelings, but if it is, then keep watching, because I'm about to show you what's built exactly for where you are right now. Now, I have to be straight up with you here. Just because these are my results and the results of the people I work with does not mean that you will 100% get the same. But what I can 100% guarantee is that the examples you're about to see here are real, and if you apply the structure properly, then this can absolutely work for you too. Just to make it clear, because I like to be straight up whenever I'm giving out sauce. And the truth is, what you put in determines what you get out. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Rob Laz, and I have been in the construction industry since I was 22, and I know what I'm talking about. Plus, I'm still running my own construction operation on the UK market to this day, pushing 7 figures yearly with more than 3,680 jobs completed to this day. Running it from Spain or Morocco with no van, no tools, and no site presence from my end. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the player system, the 6-step framework inside the digital arbitrage game that takes you from wherever you are right now to running a location-independent construction operation, and why is it accessible by 20 and 30-year-olds anywhere in the world in a way that traditional construction business has never been, and what it actually looks like to start from wherever you are right now. So stay with me, this is worth your full attention. But before we get into how this model works, we need to be honest about the reality. You see construction companies invoicing serious money, thousands per job, and nobody ever explains how someone new gets actually into that position. Because maybe you're on site working for someone else, watching the company bank the invoice while you're on a day rate. Or maybe you went out on your own and you know exactly what happens next. Fuel, you've got travel, tools, materials you covered up front, jobs that ran over, a client who paid late, tax sitting in the background. And at the end of the month, the number left over does not reflect what you actually put in. You want to be the provider. You want to know that if something goes wrong this month, you're covered. You want to build something solid, not just keep the machine running. But right now, the income is inconsistent. The costs are real. And the harder you push, the further ahead that feeling of actually getting ahead seems to get. If you already tried, you picked up a few jobs somehow, done the work or managed it, got paid. For a minute, it felt like something was beginning, but then it dried up, because picking up a job and having a system that generates jobs consistently every single week are completely different things. One is luck, one is infrastructure. There is no predictability, so there is no ability to plan or invest or grow. Most people either burn out chasing or go back to employment because at least the salary is consistent. You look at the companies doing well, you see these big contracts, branded vans, the years of reputation, and you conclude you need all of that before you can actually compete at a level that pays properly. So you end up staying where you are because that jump looks financially out of your reach. What nobody told you is that none of that is what generates the margin. The margin comes from the system, and to be honest, the van costs more than the system does. Maybe you went looking for a system, found a solution, you tried it and it did not work as you thought. Then you found another. Months passed, money got spent, and you are still in the same position because random solutions without a structure do not turn into real income. The problem was never your commitment, because you were there, you actually showed up. But nobody is talking about a way into the market that does not require the assets, the overheads, the years of building it first. A way to operate construction as the person controlling the margin, not actually doing the work. Try to think about the last week. Same place you always are, on site. Because that is the deal with the model most people in this industry are running. You show up, money comes in, you stop showing up, it stops. And in the gap between all of that, there is a life happening, a life that you are not really present for. Maybe you've got a partner or kids who mostly see you on the weekends. And I know this is not a laziness problem that you have. It's neither your mindset, because there clearly is potential, but the model you are on is the problem. The model you are on is designed to consume your time and give you a day rate back. Most people in this space just accept that as a deal, but you don't have to. That is not the only deal available. Before I explain the model, I want to do something that almost nobody does in this kind of videos. I want to show you how to actually evaluate your options properly, because most people, they jump into something without stepping back and asking whether it is the right vehicle for where they want to go. There are essentially three models available to someone who wants to generate income from the construction and property maintenance industry. You've got the employee, self-employed or company contractor, and then there's the third, which is the arbitrage operator. Now let me run all three through the same set of metrics so you can see for yourself why most people, they get stuck in the first two and never actually reach the third. Look at the startup cost row. The employee model costs nothing to enter, but you are building zero equity. The self-employed model requires you to front serious money on a van, tools, insurance and equipment before you earn a single thing. The arbitrage operator model requires between 500 and 10,000 to properly set it up. But that's it. Look at the income ceiling. As an employee, your ceiling is your salary. As a self-employed contractor, your ceiling is the number of hours you can physically work in a day. As an arbitrage operator, your ceiling is determined by how many jobs your system can handle. And systems, they scale in ways that human hours cannot. My system at the moment runs hundreds of jobs a month, but it has the potential to run thousands. Look at the location freedom. Employee, you've got none. Self-employed company, again, you've got none. You're site dependent. The arbitrage operator gives you full location freedom. The operation runs regardless of you being in the same city or in the same country. Look at the time to first income. The self-employed contractor spends 3 to 6 months getting established, building a client base, getting the setup right. The arbitrage operator with the right systems can be generating income within weeks. And look at the construction knowledge needed. This is one that surprises most people. As an employee or self-employed contractor, the knowledge is essential because you are the one doing the work. As an arbitrage operator, construction knowledge is an advantage, not a requirement. The technical knowledge stays with the operative. You manage the process, the client relationships, the margin. The workmanship responsibility sits with the subcontractor. This table is why digital construction arbitrage is the right vehicle. Not because the other two are bad, but because when you evaluate them honestly against what most people actually want, a real income, without sacrificing all their time, without massive upfront risk, without needing years to see results, the arbitrage model wins on every single metric. So let me break down exactly how this works. And I want to keep this simple because honestly the whole point of this model is that it is simple. Not easy, it's just simple. And there is a difference. The system is called the player system. 6 pillars. Each of them has a job to do. And when all 6 are running together, you have a construction business that generates real income without you needing to be on site, without a van, without tools, or years of building a reputation before you actually see a penny coming in. Here's the thing that I want you to understand before I actually gonna walk you through each pillar. Whatever your background is right now, it is not a disadvantage. If you have been on site for years, you understand how the jobs work, how trades operate, what good work looks like, and what it does not. That is an asset most people starting a business from scratch would actually pay for. If you have already tried running your own operation, you have learned lessons about clients, about cash flow, about what goes wrong, that someone brand new has not. And if you are completely new to this industry, you have no bad habits, no fixed ideas about how things have to be done, no ego tied to the way of working that does not serve you. Every single starting point has a real advantage inside this model. What changes is the system you plug into. P is for prepare. Before anything else, you need to exist properly as a business. The right structure, the right setup, the right presence. Well, it's not complicated, but it needs to be done right because clients you are going to work with, property managers, housing associations, landlords, they work with businesses that look and operate professionally. So you build that foundation that makes that first impression count. This is the part that most people either skip or they get it wrong. We make sure that you get it right from the start. L is for launch. This is where you go out and actually get in the work. This is the part that surprises most people because the way you acquire clients in this model is not the way most people in construction think about getting work. You're not relying on word of mouth. You're not waiting for someone to find you. You're going directly and systematically to people who want to have a constant, never-ending need for property maintenance work. And there are systems that do that heavy lifting of that outreach for you. The pipeline builds itself while you focus on what matters. A is for assemble. You do not do the work. You build a network of people who do it. Skilled tradespeople across different areas and trades who you manage, you brief them and deploy them job by job. This is a part of the model that most people in construction already half understand because they have seen it from the other side. They have been the operative. Now they become the operator. And building that network is more straightforward than most people think when you have the right approach to finding and vetting the right people. Y is for yield, the margin. This is where you actually make the money. Every job has a client price and an operative cost. The gap between those two numbers is yours. And knowing how to price correctly, how to protect the margin on every single job, how to quote quickly and confidently without underselling or overpricing. That is a skill that separates the operators who build real income from the ones who stay busy but never actually get ahead. We have systems built specifically for this, systems that do the most of the work for you. E is for execute. The job is won, the operative is in place. Now you need to make sure it runs smoothly. Client communication, you gotta do the job oversight, making sure that everything gets done on time and to standard. This does not require you to be on site. It requires you to have a clear process and follow it consistently. Jacob was doing this while he was laboring full time. Philip was doing this work from week one with zero previous experience managing jobs. Execute is not the hard part. It is actually the repeatable part. R is for run. Once the operation is moving, the goal is to step back from the day-to-day and let the system run it. This is where the model becomes truly location independent. Not because you disappear, but because the infrastructure you have built does not need you to be physically anywhere for it to keep generating income. This is what my operation looks right now, running in the UK. I'm in Spain or Morocco with over 3,680 jobs completed. And it's not a goal, it's just a current reality. Prepare, launch, assemble, yield, execute, and run. Now here is what I want you to sit with for a second. None of those 6 pillars require you to be qualified as a trade person. None of them require you to have an existing client base. None of them require you to have a business running before. What they require is the right system, the right setup, and the willingness to follow the process properly. Now let me make this tangible. Here's what a week looks like once this thing is running. A job comes in, could be a plumbing repair, a painting job, a full void refurbishment, whatever it is, you get notified, you quote it using your pricing framework, which accounts for the operative cost, materials, your margin, and the buffer as well. The client accepts it. You go to your operative network and you assign the right person. You brief them clearly with the timeline, scope, access, client contact. They go and they do the job. You stay in communication with the client throughout. The job gets done, you collect the payment. You pay the operative. The margin becomes yours. This is one cycle. Now run that across 10, 20, 30 jobs a month. And this is the operation. Weekly invoices paid, weekly new client relationships, weekly growth. The model is not the secret, but the execution of it is. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about next. When I started, I was on site. I was working for someone else, earning decent money, but building nothing. Every month was a reset. The business owner was compounding. I was trading time for money. I could see the jobs. I knew roughly what they cost. I could see the margin that existed. What I could not figure out was how to position myself as the operator rather than the worker. How to take the knowledge I had and build a system around it rather than just selling my hours into it. The shift happened when I stopped thinking like I was the worker and started thinking like an actual operator, like the boss I was working for. The worker asks, how do I do this job? The boss, he asks, who does this job? How do I manage them? And how do I make the margin work? Once I made that shift and built the right systems around it, everything changed. Today, my operation has completed over 3,000 jobs and does 6 figures a month as usual. It runs in the UK, I'm in Spain and Morocco, my team handles the day-to-day, and the business generates income without me being physically present anywhere near a construction site. Not as a future goal, but as the current reality. And it can work on any large developed market, not only in the UK. Philip came in with nothing set up, no clients, no construction business experience. He had been around the industry, understood how it worked, but had never actually been the person running the operation. He was convinced early on that he did not have the credibility to position himself properly, that clients would see through it, that he needed more track record before he could actually play this game seriously. What he found was the opposite. The player system provided the credibility. His job was to execute well within it, and within 2.5 months he had collected 21,600 in actual cash. Not projected, not on paper, but actually in. Jacob was on tools when he started, laboring every single day. Most people would look at that situation and say, there's no bandwidth to build something on the side. He built it anyway. He was motivated and he put in the work, because once the system is set up, the daily management does not require hours. He kept his laboring work, but the operation as well in the parallel, and grew to a point where he moved countries. He runs it from Portugal now, location independent, and he started while physically on a construction site every single day. I want to be honest about something here because I think a lot of people in this space are not. You can absolutely try to figure this out on your own. The platforms are there, the system and the model is learnable. The operative networks, they can be built as well. None of this is secret information. But here's what doing it alone actually costs you. You will spend months working out a platform strategy that someone who has already done it could show you in a week. You will quote jobs wrong before you figure out the pricing and the right pricing framework. You will pick the wrong operatives before you learn how to vet properly. You will lose clients you should have kept because you did not know what good communication in this context looks like. All of that is time and money. And the irony is that by the time you have figured it all out the way Philip and Jacob did in weeks, you have spent more in lost opportunity than the program would have cost you. And this is literally just the reality. The question is not whether you can build this alone. The question is how much it's going to cost you to do it that way versus doing it with the direct support from someone who has already built it. So here's what working together actually looks like. So you get the full operational infrastructure built out and ready to implement. Not a course you just watch and try to apply yourself. The actual system. Platform strategy, you've got quoting frameworks, pricing model, operative sourcing process, you've got client communication structure, job management workflow, everything that would take you months to figure out alone, laid out step by step and ready to run. Does that mean plug and play? Not necessarily. There will still be things that you need to implement yourself with my guidance, as each case is different based on where you stand and what skills you possess. Right now, I work with every single person personally, one-to-one. The strategy is built around your specific situation, your market, your starting point, your background, your goals. Every question goes directly to me. Every problem that comes up, we solve it together. Every decision point, there is someone who has been there to help you think it through. But that will change as the program scales. The people coming in now, they get something that the people coming in later will not get, which is consistent, personal, direct access to the person who built this. You're not going out cold trying to convince people to give you a chance. The platforms and the systems I will walk you through already have an enormous volume of live, verified client work. We are not building demand. We are tapping into demand that already exists and learning how to win it systematically. Weekly jobs, weekly new client relationships, new invoices paid. This is what the system is built to produce. Philip did not have construction experience. The model does not require technical knowledge. It actually requires process management and clear communication. If you can follow up on a job, manage a client conversation, and make sure the right person is in the right place at the right time, you have what it takes to start, even if you are already working full-time. Jacob was laboring on site every single day when he built this. Once the system is running, it does not require hours every day to maintain. It's only the setup phase that requires focused effort for a defined period. But after that, the management is not on a second job. And look, most failed attempts, they come from operating without the right systems and in the wrong model. You are not failing because you are not capable. You were failing because the vehicle was wrong. This is a different vehicle evaluated on a completely different set of metrics. Previous failure in a different model is not evidence that this one will not work for you. And honestly, will I tell you that I can guarantee you're gonna start collecting tens of thousands in matters of days with zero experience? Absolutely not. But what I can assure you is that Philip started with zero and collected 21,600 in 2.5 months. Jacob, he started while laboring full-time and now he is location independent. My operation has done over 3,680 jobs and keeps doing hundreds a month, active to this day, from a different country, without a van or tools. So the model, it clearly works. The question is whether you are ready to actually implement it. Alright, you've seen the whole thing, the new era shift that is happening right now in construction, the problems that keep most people stuck, the framework that shows why the arbitrage model wins on every single metric that actually matters, and the mechanics of how the player system runs, the real results from real people who started from scratch. And I'm not gonna push you, I do not need to. Whether you work with me or not, this opportunity is real. The market is real, the model is working, and that does not change based on what you decide to do after this video. But here's what I know from watching hundreds of people sit exactly at this point. Most of them will not do anything. Not because they do not want the outcome, not because they do not believe the model works, but because there is always a reason to wait. Always one more thing to think about. Always a better time that never quite arrives. And 2 years from now, they are in the same place. A bit more frustrated, a bit more behind where they actually wanted to be, still trading time for money, still watching other people build things. The people who actually move are the ones who already know, somewhere under all that noise, that their current situation is not the answer. They can feel the ceiling. They know working harder is not the solution. They have already made that decision that they want something different. They just need the right system to build it with. If that is you, the next step is simple. There is a link below this video. Click it, fill the form, and if you are a fit, book a call. And we will spend 30 minutes to 1 hour looking at your specific situation. Whether this makes sense for you, what the fastest path forward actually looks like from where you are starting. And listen, there's no pressure. If it is not the right fit, I will tell you that on the the call. I'm not interested in bringing in people where the model does not make sense for their situation. But if it is right, and we both think it is right, then we can actually get started. Because the worst thing that happens if you book the call is you spend 30 minutes and find out it's just not for you. The worst thing that happens if you do not is you watch this video, you close the tab, and look back 2 years from now on wondering what would have happened if you just had the call.